Leonard, is it necessary to have a spiritual teacher? Some people are naturally like that, but what about those who want to wake up? Is it possible to self-direct?
Well, I had my first awakening without any spiritual teacher, or for that matter, without any preparation for what happened to me. And what was interesting for me was after I had this very profound, powerful awakening that lasted for weeks in a completely altered state of isness, oneness, God, heaven on earth. But I wasn't prepared for it, and I didn't know what it really was. So, in a way, my journey began after my first awakening.
Could you share something of your journey with us? Would you be willing to?
I will briefly, but what I just want to complete this what I'm saying right now, which is, in a way, I wanted to know what had happened to me because it was so amazing, it was so wonderful, but I didn't know what it was. So then I began reading books by spiritual teachers. I visited a few different teachers, a few different masters to try and discover what had happened to me. And slowly, it became clear, and I was able to open up to that level again in a more gentle way. So if you want to know about my experience, like my first awakening, I've had 5 of them over a period of about 15 years. And I'm very, very briefly, because it's just my story, and it's just another story. But back in 1981, I was attending a retreat. I didn't know the teacher. I didn't know anyone there. I just thought, I'll have a nice vacation, something to do. And during this experience, I went through some very powerful emotional healings, and I noticed I was becoming more and more present throughout these 7 days of the retreat, but I didn't know what it was. But I could see auras around trees, I could see auras around people, with all sorts of mysterious things were happening. And then at the end of this retreat, I had a significant opening, which I won't go into the details of it, but I was completely and utterly intoxicated with love. Very much like I imagine St. Francis of Assisi must have felt. I was in the company of saints and sages. I was being taken through a healing of my own childhood, my own past. All sorts of revelations were coming through about what had happened to me and how I'd gone astray. And then it sort of generalized to what has happened to all of us and how we've all gone astray. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing morphed and changed into suddenly I was in the presence of God. And don't ask me how I knew that, but before this moment, I was somewhere between atheist and agnostic. And suddenly, all of a sudden, in one instant, I was in the presence of God, and all sorts of amazing things happened. And, that awakening lasted for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I couldn't function normally, and I had to be taken care of. I was in this completely altered state of isness. And then it slowly settled down, and I actually began teaching at that point and sharing what had happened with me. 3 years later, I had a second awakening, more powerful than the first. And then 3 years after that, I had another awakening, more powerful than the first the first 2. If I was to describe them upon reflection, because I didn't know what they were at the time, I would say the first was a massive opening into love, an opening of the heart, because it was so characterized by intense, overwhelming love and oneness and God. The second was an opening into Christ consciousness, because I experienced all these revelations about Christ and Christ on the cross and what was his true mission and all of that, and what really happened to him on the cross. The third awakening was, again, totally over the top. I'm not in charge of any of these awakenings. I didn't invite them. I didn't want them, and I didn't hold on to them. But they did last quite a while. The third was an extraordinary opening into God consciousness. There's no way I can describe that to you, but it was like a journey in one instant, from the beginning to the end and the end to the beginning, everything just opening up. And all these ascended masters, sort of somehow in my presence. I don't know how that all works, but they were life-altering. I've never been the same since. It's a little difficult for me to remember who I used to be.
Thank you for sharing that. And, it's interesting. You mentioned that you felt a a kinship or a closeness to Jesus and his experience during one of your own experiences. And there's an expression I like, that all rivers lead to the sea. And as a seeker and someone who loves, all of these wisdom traditions, I love it because it's a reminder that these different spiritual or religious paths are not antagonistic to one another, but rather behind them, there's a similarity, there's a pearl, there's a jewel that is the same, and a truth that is that stands regardless of the facade. Would you speak to that?
Yes, first of all, I agree with you absolutely. And at the very core of all spiritual traditions, at the very core of all religions, is a very deep truth that's been revealed by the founders of those religions, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Krishna or whatever, or Muhammad. There's a certain level, there's a core of essential truth that the founders of those paths, traditions, or religions experienced directly and tried to share as best they could. And these truths were emerging from the center of their beings. It wasn't coming from the mind. They were expressions from truth, from presence, from God, from oneness, from the mystery. The problem is when you take those truths that are expressed from presence, from God, from the mystery, and you're not in that state of consciousness yourself, but you take those truths and try to practice those truths.
Or preach them. Or preach them.
Or preach them. Now you have religion. This is religion.
Right.
Religion is an attempt on the part of those who are not awake to practice the truth of those who were awake. And it cannot work, and it just creates more separation and more division. Then you have the Jews wanting to kill these ones, and the Christians wanting to kill the Muslims want to kill everyone. It's all insane when the truth is there's only one God. And if these three religions could recognize that and come into harmony and cooperation and realize they're complementary to each other, then we'd have a different world we live in. But because they're separate in the way they are, it's creating a tremendous energy of separation, and it's thrown duality out of balance. And now we're all lost in that state of imbalance within duality. And our politics are reflecting that beautifully, how out of balance we are in the world. The whole of humanity is out of balance.
If I can jump into the process now, if you'll allow me, you spoke of a two-step process of awakening. I'm interested to know more about that, and also the ego's role as an obstructor. Why does the ego dislike presence so much? And how does that fit into your two-step process, if you would?
Okay, well, there's quite a lot in what you just put towards me. Okay, first I'll talk about the process, and then I'll talk about the two steps, and then I'll talk about the ego's role.
Okay.
And I'll make it very, very brief.
Thank you.
Because the briefer it is, the more simple it is.
Okay.
Which is what we need. We need simple and clear and beyond all arguments, beyond discussion, beyond confusion. So when you're in the mind or in the story, in the dream, you're somewhere in the past or future. That's a simple statement of truth. All thought takes you into that world of the past and future, because all thought is past, future. All thought takes you into the mind. And if you believe in those thoughts, or those opinions, ideas, beliefs, concepts, then you get locked and imprisoned within the world of the mind. And there's really no way out. There's physically no way out. So that's the situation the whole of humanity finds itself in, imprisoned within the world of the mind, not knowing the way out. Now, in order for you or any of your viewers to come out of the world of the mind, out of the past and future, it's so simple. You, the truth of you, just bring yourself present with something that's already here in the moment with you. It's of the present moment. If you can see it, it's of the present moment. If you can hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it, smell it, it's of the present moment. It's really here. You're not imagining it. You're not remembering it. It's really here.
So that's the first step, to get into something here that the senses can perceive.
Exactly. The moment it's a question of you adjusting your focus and tuning yourself into something that's here rather than just going with wherever the mind is taking you. You in a way correct that. You bring yourself back without any struggle, no practice, no trying. It's very gentle. You just bring yourself present with something that is here in the moment with you. Now you could close your eyes and be present with your body breathing, because your body can only breathe in the present moment. You could be present with something you hear right now, in this moment. And then I could say, who is hearing the sound in this moment? I am. Who is present, aware of the body breathing in this moment? I am. Who is looking out through the eyes, present with me in this moment? Who is present in this moment? I am. It's the I am that is the awakened you. It's the true master. You are the true master. Now here's the irony. Already, everyone on the planet is already a fully awakened being. Always has been, always will be. It's already here, always has been. But to the extent that you become absorbed into the world of the mind, which we all have, then you disconnect from the truth that is ever present within you. So awakening is not about creating something that's not here. It's about finding your way out of the world of illusion into the simplicity and truth revealed through this moment. You are the revealer of truth. You are the redeemer of oneness. You are the revealer of heaven on earth. That's who you really are. And I could say that to everyone on the planet. That's who you really are. Have you forgotten who you are? And the truth is, yes, we've all forgotten. We've all become disconnected as we become more and more absorbed into this story, this dream, this world of the mind. And then we stay in it, not realizing that we're running further and further from the truth.
So are there degrees of unplugging from this center of I am? Are some people further lost than others?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The further you're lost in the mind, the more insane you are. And I think that's being demonstrated over and over in our world. I won't mention any names, will I?
So presence would be the first step then.
What's that?
Coming to presence would be the first step.
That's the first step in this two-path dance of awakening, the path of awakening. Mastering the art of being present. And it's simple. It's as simple as, you notice when you're thinking, that's okay. You're not going to hell because you're already there. Right? So you just notice your thinking, and very gently, without any resistance to the thought, you just bring yourself back and bring yourself present with something that's here. Now, even if it only lasts 3 seconds before the thoughts come in
Come back again.
That's okay. Just notice, thinking, and then back you come to presence. It could be the breathing body. It could be something you see in the moment. It could be movement. You could be present in the movement of your body. There are so many ways to be present. You can be present washing the dishes. What I say to people is, when there's no need to be thinking, be present. When it's appropriate to think, then think clearly and well. But don't get lost in that world of thought.
Is that the same as being mindful? That's become a buzzword these days. Is that mindfulness?
You know, I've never really gone into that. For me, it's not the same, but I can't speak with great authority on that. I've let mindfulness experts talk about that.
Okay.
But my sense of it is that presence is deeper than mindfulness, because if you're being mindful, then I have to ask, who is being mindful? Who is mindful in this moment? Which simply means who is aware of what is arising within the mind? Who is aware of a feeling arising? Who is aware of so the question, if we ask who is mindful, it brings us back to I am. For me, the I am presence is the awakened you, and I'm not sure that mindfulness will take you to the I am presence that you are. It might, I don't know. That's for others to determine. But in this teaching, the goal is not to be mindful. The goal is to awaken into the truth of who you are. And then, of course, you're mindful, which simply means I'm present. If a thought arises, I'm witness to that. I'm not for it, not against it. If a feeling arises, I'm present with it in a certain way that won't pull me out of presence. So who is present? I am. It's becoming grounded in the I am presence. Now, if I was to ask you, or you would ask me, okay, who is present? I am. Who is I am? I am. You see, there's nothing beyond that. Or shall I say, there's nothing or nothingness beyond that. This is where we come into, at this point here, I'm trying to show with my hands, this is us lost in the mind now, more and more present, more and more present, more and more present, more and more present. Now this is where we meet God. This is where we reach the source, the pure source within us. At the very deepest level, who you are is pure consciousness, beyond form and beyond content. Now you can't think about that. But that's who you are at the very deepest level. And that's what the Advaita Vedanta people are always talking about. It's opening into this nothingness, know you from the past, know you from the future. But for me, the non-dualists take it too far and dismiss what I call heaven on earth and say it's not real. Well, for me, if this is not real, we're all screwed.
I see how it takes you deeper than what is usually referred to by mindfulness. It reminds me of something I heard once. Let's see if I get it right. That mindfulness is not concentration. It's the awareness of when you've lost concentration. So it's almost like a lighter level of watching and awareness. But you want to bring us deeper than that.
Who is watching?
Yes. Yes.
Who is watching? Or if you're feeling anxious, who is feeling anxious?
Mm. And so that would be the second step then, the mastery of that?
This is all the first step.
Still first, okay.
Yeah, this is all just about being present. And what does it feel like to be present? So you see, most people who are seeking enlightenment, they're looking for bliss or ecstasy or some kind of liberation from the pain that's in their story.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, that's still me. The ego is still involved.
Mm.
Looking for what's in it for me. We say that's the way of the ego. What's in it for me? I want bliss. That's still me.
With an idea of bliss.
What's that?
With a fantasy of what bliss is.
Or even if you get the bliss, it's very likely bliss will arise when you're present, but that's not what it's about. Mm. It's not about, if you feel bliss, I'd say, who's feeling bliss? I am. And immediately you'll be taken beyond the bliss. Now, what's beyond the bliss? Perfect, infinite, eternal silence. Perfect, infinite, eternal peace. I could go on. Perfect, infinite, eternal with love, acceptance, compassion. Now I'm describing God. Now I'm describing where you come into oneness with God at that very, very deep level of awakened presence, awakened consciousness. You see, what I say is God is real. God is here now, but we are not. We are lost in the past and future world of the mind. If you want to experience the living presence of God in all things present, you have to come to where God is, which is in the present moment. God is the present moment revealed. Do you have to call it God? No. But I don't know what else to call it. And whenever I call it God, it seems to open it up even more. So
I like the word.
Yeah, and most people have to go through a process of decontaminating that word before they can experience the word God in its pure form. Before the contamination put upon us by religions and all sorts of things.
I like that, decontaminating it.
Yeah, and what I say is believing in God is for those who don't know God.
That's beautiful. I read that in your book.
And you can know God directly if you become present enough that you come into God's world. I call it God's world, the world of here now, compared to the world of the mind, which I call the world of not here. From the world of not here to the world of here now.
And so step 2.
So step 2, right? So step 2 is all about coming out of the past and future, out of the mind into presence. But because we are so habituated to living within the mind and we're so addicted to thinking, it's only a fairly short time for most people before they're pulled back into the story, into the dream, into the mind, and living again from that limited level of consciousness. So step 2 involves bringing awareness to how that happens. Witnessing how you're pulled out of presence and taking responsibility for that. How does it happen when you're pulled out of presence involuntarily? What are the obstacles to you settling fundamentally into presence? What is still unhealed within you that keeps you in the story? For example, judgment. Are you still involved in judgment? Because that will keep you in the separation. So step 2 really leads to mastery of the mind and ego. It's not enough to be present. That's enough for the cow or the donkey or the tree. But we humans have to master another step, which is, yes, I'm fundamentally present and awaken the truth of life. And yes, now I am a master of my mind and ego, so that I can no longer be involuntarily pulled out of the present moment.